Hey guys, how are you today? I hope you guys are all well. So, welcome to my preview of the Rome Masters for today. I'm going to be previewing the Rome Masters 2021. I'm just going to quickly go over what happened in the Madrid final and review that one. Then I'll move on to my preview of the Rome Masters. Now, I really felt like in the Madrid final, we're getting onto the Rome Masters in just a few minutes. So I felt like in the Madrid, it was just what I said. It was 3 sets in my preview of the Madrid Masters final. 50-50 if it's going to be two close sets or 3 sets. Um, a very close tiebreaker in the first set. That's a flip of a coin that just came down to a double fault from Zverev and an ace from Berrettini. That determined whether it was a 3 set or a 2 set. So a long tiebreaker that's a flip of the coin. If Zverev wins it, it's straight sets. If Berrettini wins it, it's free. But from there, you really saw like both have a big serve and both can attack and shorten the points. But Zverev has more consistency and shot tolerance, whereas Berrettini to attack and hit those winners, he's taking risks and getting a lot of errors. Whereas with Zverev, you're not getting that. So one guy, both are attacking with big serves. One guy is more consistent than the other. Then on the defensive side, whenever Berrettini's in control, he has to hit a few shots to pass Zverev's defense. But when Zverev hits a powerful shot slightly to the right, to the left, Berrettini can't play any kind of defense. So, like I said, you got two big guys attacking big serve. One guy more consistent, the other guy's going for it, going between winners and errors. The other guy can attack with more consistency. And then on the defensive side, Zverev can defend, Berrettini can't. So Berrettini's asked to hit few shots to end the point, whereas Zverev just needs one decent shot, and then it's past Berrettini's defense. So when you can do everything the other guy can do, but there's some extra things, I really just think like that's the problem. That was the problem for Berrettini. So there you have it. But like I said, like Zverev could attack and defend, whereas Berrettini could just attack. And when Berrettini's attacking, there's always a risk of errors, and he doesn't have consistency, but Zverev does. And then, like I said, Berrettini's controlling the point, hitting a few shots to end the point, whereas when Zverev's attacking, he just needs one hard shot to the right or left, and Berrettini can't defend. So really, when you look at all of that, like that's what happened. And really, at the end of the match, like if you look at the breaks, most of the games that Zverev broke, he'd won maybe two good shots, but it was mostly Berrettini hitting errors. He couldn't stay consistently in the rallies because when the rallies last long, there was a risk of an error. Whenever he got a situation he had to defend, he couldn't do that either. Whereas Zverev's keeping up the consistency on the shot. When Zverev can going between attack and defense, Berrettini can't. And in the end, because he couldn't defend, he had to go for more. And because he had to go for more, his shots are also less consistent. So now he's getting winners, but he's paying for it with errors. Whereas when Zverev attack, he's not paying with the errors, and he doesn't have to go for so much because if he defends, he's okay with that. So that's what you saw and then the pressure of Berrettini having to hit one, two, three shots to end it because the Rev has the defence to ask, cost a lot of errors and really test his consistency. But whereas the Rev, all Zverev had to do was just hit the ball decently hard to the right or the left, as I was saying, and he doesn't have to go for too much because he knows if he gets the ball a bit to the right or the left of Berrettini, he's in a great position because Berrettini can't defend. So when you have that, whenever Zverev's ahead in the rally, it's a guaranteed almost, unless he hits a crazy error. Whereas when Berrettini's in control, he's asked to hit 2 to 3 good shots, and he may hit one, it may come back, and then he may go for too much. So there's that also. But so basically the thing was Zverev kept up the defense and asked Berrettini to hit a few good shots, and a lot of the times he couldn't do it. So he hit errors much higher rate to go with his winners than what Zverev was doing. And then I just think that really cost him. And then the fact that he was under pressure to go for too much because he can't be under defense, whereas Zverev wasn't under that pressure, didn't have to go close to the lines, just try to move him around and maybe attack a bit less to say, like, this guy can't defend. I've got to just move him around, stop him having time to hit the big forehands, and that's his weakness, and I'll win. And I don't have to take risks. Whereas Berrettini can't be under defense and can't hit a few good shots consecutively because he's too inconsistent, so has to end it right away. So that's huge risk of errors. So that's what happened. The more consistent shot in the rally won Zverev this match. And the fact that when Berrettini was up in the point, he had to hit a few good shots to end it, whereas Zverev just needed one because Berrettini doesn't have the defense. And a lot of these service breaks in the second and third set, it was either Zverev asking Berrettini to hit 2 or 3 good shots and not being able to do it and coming up with an error. So that there was that. And then there was also the fact that Berrettini just doesn't have the consistency and hits more errors. So then that cost him for service breaks. And then the fact that in the rallies, if Zverev hit a decent attacking shot, the point was over. So Zverev doesn't need to take risks and goes for too much. So the two big things I would say, Zverev's superior defense and superior shot tolerance, and asking Berrettini to hit a few good shots was too much for him. And he's making a lot of errors and it's costing him. And then knowing that he can't play any kind of defense, so he has to go for more. And then the fact that Zverev, all he had to do is hit it hard right to the left. And then that was good enough because Berrettini couldn't play defense. And in the end, the physical fitness. So Berrettini's having to go for too much because he can't play defense. Berrettini getting tired also causing him to go for more and going for drop shots. And then Zverev on the other side saying, I actually can go for less than normal because if I just hit it a bit hard to the right or left, that's exposing his weakness. So I'm actually going for it and having shots that can win the point, but without much risk. So then in the end, Berrettini can't even be in that position. So again, he's going for more drop shots that either aren't working out or Zverev's getting for it, or to avoid being in a position of defense, he's having to go for a lot. But then Zverev's got the defense, so he may have to go for a lot with high risk for a few shots. And then there's just a huge high risk of errors and all of that. So in the end, it was the better defense and the consistency of shot and a whole lot of errors from Berrettini under important service games that Zverev didn't happen. So there you have it. I predicted it. I said it was either straight sets or free sets, and it was going to come down to a really close borderline. And it was a tiebreaker that went really deep into it that determined whether it was 2 or 3 sets. Berrettini got it, but then Zverev gets the match. So now let's move on and let's preview the Rome Masters. So guys, let's look at this one. I'm going to just look through the draw now at the Rome Masters. So firstly, let's look at Djokovic's draw. So Djokovic is going to be playing Fritz. I'd say he'll get through that. Probably Dimitrov in his second round, which is the third round of 16. I'd say he'd get through that. Move through the quarterfinals. This is when he's got a really tough situation where he's going to be playing Djokovic is going to be playing Tsitsipas in the quarterfinal. Now, Tsitsipas has been great on clay. That's almost a 50-50 match. But I think Djokovic usually gets better at the end of the clay court season. I think he's had a couple of tournaments he's been practicing. He wins the first 2 rounds here. And Tsitsipas was a bit inconsistent in the last tournament. So I say it's a close battle and possibly a few hours, but I think Djokovic gets through this. But it affects him going on with physical tiredness because he's had to battle for a long 3-set 2.5 hour free set match to beat Tsitsipas. So he moves on there, but he's out of energy as he moves through to the semi-finals. Then when we look at who he would play, if we look at Thiem's draw, Thiem would play Fucsovics. Thiem would then play probably Lorenzo Sonego or Monfils. He'll beat both of them. He'll be in the quarterfinals. Then he's going to play Rublev or Bautista Agut. I'll give that one to Rublev. I think it'll be close, but a lot of their close battles. Rublev won the last one in Monte Carlo. Just a bit more power to get through a slow clay court, so I'm giving it to Rublev. Yeah, Rublev, but I think that'll be a long battle too. And, it'll just be the fact that Rublev has that bit more power to get through a slow court and get through a defense of Agut and can consistently hit it 3, 4, 5, 7 shots. Whereas when Agut's trying to get through the court and end the point, it's a bit more harder and takes more shots to sort of get it through. And Rublev may hit 2 good, powerful shots, get through the defense on a slow court, but Agut may have to hit 5 and have the ball coming shorter and shorter. So I think just both have consistency of shot in the rally, but Rublev has more power to get through a slow clay court and a great defender. So I'm going to give that to Rublev. Then we're left with a Rublev Thiem semi-final. Both of them have great ability to get in long rallies and consistent and great shot tolerance, but both have great power to hammer the ball through any kind of slow clay court, through any kind of defender. They both have huge forehands. I've never actually seen these guys play. Unfortunately, I don't have the head-to-head in front of me. But I would just say Thiem is a little bit more consistent on the shot. They're going to match each other in the power, but Thiem has a little bit more consistency with his shot in the rallies and a little bit better defense. And I think after getting through 4 matches in Madrid, 4 matches in Madrid on an altitude that he would prefer a normal clay court. And then now to get through 2 matches at Rome. Now he's had 6 matches, so it would be better anyway if he was at a Madrid type of a speed court. But now he's on sea level, a typical clay court. He'll be even better again. So like I said, it's his 7th match. So if you base him on the Madrid level, he would have improved. But then if it's his 7th match and you put him on sea level, typical clay that he prefers, then he's going to be better again. I think they'll both have a lot of ability to hit power and hit it consistently, 3, 4, 5, 7 shots through the other guy's defense. And they'll both be able to hit heavy, but hit consistently to get through each other's defense, to get through any kind of court, and to willing to hit it 3, 5, 7 shots until they do that. They'll both be able to do that to each other. Their serve's basically on a par, but I think Thiem with just this little bit more consistency on the shot and a little bit better defense, asking Rublev to hit more shots and maybe frustrating Rublev and forcing Rublev to go for too much. So I think that'll be an issue. I think the fact that, like, when Rublev's hammering the ball's powerful shots, Thiem's going to ask him one more, and then eventually there'll be errors, right? Whereas Rublev's defense won't be that good to stand up against Thiem power when Thiem's hammering 3, 5, 7 shots in a row. So there'll be more of a tendency for Rublev to get frustrated and go for too much than Thiem, because Thiem's defense will be better. So he'll ask more powerful shots consecutively to end the point every time, and that creates a pressure, and Rublev's going to go for too much. Whereas Rublev's defense won't be as good, so he won't be asking Thiem to hit as many powerful shots consistently to end the point. So that's one advantage. And then I think there's a little bit more consistency for Thiem off his shots in the rallies to be able to hit those powerful shots 3, 5, 7 times more times consecutive until he gets past the defense. Whereas Rublev, I think there's less consistency. So the longer rallies, he'll sort of break him down a bit. And I just think those two things, that Thiem will be more patient and be willing to stay in the rally longer until he ends the point. So I just think that there's that, and then there's the better defense. So Rublev may be forced to go for too much, but it'll be close. But I'll give that to Thiem, and I'll put Thiem into the semi-finals against Djokovic. So now on the other side of the draw, Nadal's side of the draw. So Nadal's got Sinner in the first round. Sinner will try to attack and shorten the point, but I think Nadal will force him into rallies, and it'll become about a battle with long rallies with consistency of shot. And then I just think under that type of situation, Sinner, he doesn't have the shot tolerance, and when Nadal starts hammering 1, 2, 3, 4 hands in a row on Sinner's defense, Sinner doesn't have the defense to stand up for that. But when Sinner does it, Nadal does. And then also, because Nadal's defense is too good, again, Sinner doesn't have the consistency. He's going to go for too much. And then when he doesn't, Nadal will have time to set up and hammer forehands, and Sinner doesn't have the defense. So too good defense, too much consistency, and Sinner's either going for too much or letting Nadal dominate with the forehand. But that'll be a good one. And then he's going to be playing Shapovalov probably in the next round. I mean, Shapovalov, doesn't have enough consistency to hit 2, 3, 4 shots consistently to get through a slow clay court and through Nadal's defense. So he'll probably be ending the point short, going for too much, and making a whole bunch of errors, right? So that's what I see in that one, and I just see when he doesn't go for too much, then Nadal's got time to attack and then hammer the forehand and then break down his poor defense. And the only thing is go for too much and then hit a whole bunch of errors. So that won't be too much of a challenge. Then Nadal moves through to a quarterfinal matchup with Zverev. And then I'm just really thinking I won't go, I don't know, Zverev, yeah. So he's going to get what? Hugo Dalian and then possibly Nishikori or Pablo Carreno or Busta get through that. So then we've got the Nadal-Zverev quarterfinal, a rematch of what happened. I just think in this type of situation, his whole attacking shortening the point from Madrid won't work. He doesn't have a big enough forehand when you're on a slow court and you have time to set up and use your power for big forehand. He doesn't really have a big enough forehand to get through a slow court and get through a defender like Nadal. So I think he's not really going to have quite a lot of, his serve's not going to have impact as much. So he's going to be forced to be in a whole lot of long rallies. And I just think that being in those rallies, he now can't use his serve. He now can't really attack short in the point and take Nadal's time. He has to battle into long rallies and not really having a big forehand enough to get through a slow court, get through Nadal's defense and take Nadal's time so Nadal can't hit forehands. So now it'll be more, and then without the serve too, taken out of play a lot on a slower court. So there'll be a lot of long rallies because now Zverev can't get 3 points on serve. When Zverev tries to attack and shorten the point, you'll get errors because he's not getting the ball through the court as much. He's going to have to go too close to the lines. And if he does that, he'll get a whole lot of errors because he's not getting short balls off the serve that he can just end the point, right? So the problem is now he needs to try to deeper kind of balls. He needs to hit through a slow clay court and through Nadal's defense. When before he was getting 3 points off the serve, just finishing short balls, getting it through a faster court, now forced to rally just to hold serve and not getting all these easy short balls and having to just battle away in a rally from deeper balls at the baseline and having to hit through a slow court and through Nadal's defense. And it's going to struggle. So if he does, he goes for too much, close to the line, a lot of errors. If he doesn't, Then now Nadal on this slower court is battling away with long rallies, has time to set up with the forehand and just hammering forehand after forehand and exposing the fact that, like, I don't think Zverev has enough defense to stand up for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots, forehand after forehand into his defense. Even Djokovic and Thiem can't really do it. But I mean, Zverev's defense, yeah, compared to Berrettini, it's good. But when he's got to deal with Nadal just standing in the middle hitting forehands, and I think there'll be a lot of long rallies, and it'll be a high quality match. But in the end, like either Zverev's going for too much or Nadal's dominating the rallies with the forehand, and Zverev doesn't have the defense to stand up to it. Could be 2 close sets or 3 sets. So now we've got Nadal into the semi-final. So now let's just go back to the draw. Who would Nadal play? I think most likely option would be Schwartzman. There's Khachanov in that area. There's Goffin, Medvedev, Karatsev, but I'll give it to Schwartzman. He hasn't done anything for a while, but that's an easy part of the draw. So first semi-final we'd see. So now we'd see Nadal, Schwartzman, Djokovic, Thiem in the other semi-final, right? So what I'm going to say about this is, right, we saw Nadal, Schwartzman actually beat Nadal at Rome last year. Nadal's now getting to the end of his 4th tournament back on clay. Now he has a real, and it's a sea-level clay, right? It's not like the Madrid type of clay that's more like playing more like a hard court. So when we have Nadal towards the end of his 4th tournament on clay, we could be seeing the best level Nadal has on clay, which Schwartzman won't be able to do anything with. And like I said, I just think it'll be long rallies, it'll be battle. Both have great consistency of shot, both have good defense, but Nadal will just overpowering him and dominating Djokovic. So I've got Nadal through to the final, and I've got Thiem playing Djokovic. I just think like both of them have got great defense. Both of them love a long rally. Both have great consistency and shot tolerance. It'll be about the long rallies, but when it comes down to it, who has the power in those rallies to get the ball through a slow court and to hit it through a great defender? The answer is Thiem has that. And like I said, Djokovic is going to be coming off possibly 3 hours with Tsitsipas the day before. So to physically stay in these long rallies with Thiem is going to be hard. But then he doesn't have a weapon like a Thiem forehand to just hammer the ball through the court and say, I can get the. It doesn't matter how good Djokovic is with his defense and consistency. I can get the ball through any court, including Rome, and through any defender, including Rome. So then Djokovic is in a position Thiem's overpowering him in the rallies. So now what's happening? Djokovic is either needing to go for too much, to hit the ball too hard, too close to the line, and have a risk with errors, or try things like drop shots, or try to come to the net maybe, because like his shots are just not really getting through the court like he'd want to get through a defender of Thiem, and then in the end, his normal game that would get through to Thiem's defense on a hard court isn't, or grass. So now he has to go for more and risk hitting errors. And if he doesn't, then Thiem dominates him with the forehand and then try and drop shots and change his game out of his norm because his shots aren't really getting through the defense of Thiem. But then Thiem, with a slow court, time to set up and hammer his forehand, even his backhand, he can, in these long rallies, he can get the ball through a slow court and through Djokovic's defense and just play his normal game. And Djokovic won't want to battle and stay in these long rallies and just be dominated by Thiem's power because he's going to be exhausted from the Tsitsipas match. So then Djokovic's response when that starts to happen is go for more and then errors, come to the net, try drop shots. That won't work either. And then I think he's going to be tired, so he's going to hit quite a few low percentage shots because he's not going to want to stay in these long rallies with Thiem dominating with the power and the forehand. So in the end, it'll be close. But like I said, mostly because Thiem has the power to get through any court and any defender and consistently play his normal game. And then Djokovic doesn't really have that, has to go for more close to the line, the net, drop shots and all these other things, it's going to cost Djokovic. And then also the fact that, like, even if he's rallying on an even level with Thiem, he's not really going to want to do that because he's going to be exhausted. And to have to deal with Tsitsipas and again with Thiem, he's going to bail out of the rallies and probably so it'd be Thiem overpowering him with the rallies, but sometimes Djokovic not wanting to be dominated and not even have the energy to be in a long match of long rallies because he did it against Tsitsipas. So just hitting a whole bunch of low percentage shots to end the point. Because if he doesn't, Thiem's overpowering him in the rallies anyway, and also he doesn't have the physicality to be involved in that. So I think Djokovic will sneak a set, but Thiem in 3 sets. So then we're back with I would say the top 2 players on clay in the final. Dominic Thiem, Rafael Nadal, Rome Masters Final 2021. Both guys have the huge forehands that can hit through any kind of defense on any kind of court, which includes this court, and it includes each other's great defense. Both have time to set up with their forehand. Thiem maybe just have a little bit more on the forehand, but then more probably risk of errors to go with that. Backhand, maybe Thiem's got a little bit more power, but can hit a little bit more errors. Defense, they're pretty similar. Thiem has a bit better serve. But I just think, like, Nadal's this will be right at the very end of his 4th tournament back. He should be at his absolute best level on clay by this match. Whereas Thiem, it's his 2nd tournament. He'll be building close to that. He won't be quite there. So when you consider when both players are at their best on clay, Nadal wins usually, but it's close. But when Thiem's sort of on his 2nd tournament back from a break and Nadal 4th tournament, so Nadal's maybe right on his best and Thiem's sort of getting there. I think what we'll see is Nadal winning, and Nadal's going to probably, use the top spin, get it high on Thiem's one-handed backhand in the long rallies and set up a lot of forehands where he can then dominate the point. When he's using his forehand in the rally, where he can hit 1, 2, 3 forehands until he gets past anyone's defense, he'll be able to hit it more consistently, where no matter whether the Thiem keeps the defense and says one more shot, one more forehand, he can just keep going at it and going and hit as many forehands until he breaks through, and he can do it all day. Whereas Thiem, when he has a great defender on a slow surface, can get frustrated, can go for too much. So even though they both have the power to get through his outfit defense, if Nadal has to hit 5, 7, 10 forehands to end the point, he's willing to do it. But Thiem can get frustrated and tired and go for too much. So I think that'll be an advantage. And then the fact that Nadal will be reaching a high level, so his rally shots to be able to attack, use his forehand, hit as many great shots to end the point in the rallies will be more there. Because like I said, it's his 4th tournament back, Thiem's 2nd tournament. So Thiem will probably be a bit more consistent, exchanging winners and errors. And then Nadal will be able to say his favourite shots forehand across court on clay against a one-handed backhand. He can go that, get short balls, then hit 1, 2, 3 forehands and win the point like that. And he's willing to hit as many forehands until he ends it. So the more consistent the Nadal can hit as many forehands as he wants all day until he gets past any defender, and he'll have the power and the consistency. Whereas Thiem, if the ball keeps coming back, he's going to get frustrated and go for too much. So with the winners for Thiem, it'll be mixed in with errors. Whereas Nadal, when he's in control of the forehand, it'll be mostly winners without errors. And then the fact that the Thiem constantly having to deal with the ball high on the one-handed backhand, and if he can't get it deep, then Nadal controls the point with the forehand. I think those two will be the factor, but it'll be close. And then the fact that Nadal will be on his best level by now, Thiem will be getting to his close level and not quite there. Probably at the end of the French Open, he'll be there, but that's for another video. So I think for those 2 reasons, the fact that Nadal can hammer as many forehands until he gets past the defense without the risk of going to the line, near the line and going for too much. Whereas Thiem, if he has to keep hitting one more forehand, you're going to see him not have as much shot tolerance, going for too much, making errors, especially on his 2nd tournament back. And then to ask Thiem to constantly deal with high balls on his one-handed backhand, if he doesn't get it deep, it's a lot of pressure. Then Nadal dominates every rally after that with a forehand with a short ball. And then Thiem is now, to stop being in that position, is going to have to go for more early, which is errors, because if he doesn't, it might come high on his one-handed backhand. And then also he's not going to be willing to hit all these forehands in a row for a few hours and not go for too much, especially in his second tournament. He won't have the shot tolerance. He'll be going for too much and have errors. When Nadal's in control of the forehand, he'll hit as many forehands until he gets it past Thiem's defense, and he'll do it in more of a safe way without errors. And then again, there's something that in these rallies Nadal can always go to. High up on Thiem's one-handed backhand, there's not really one specific thing Thiem has to go to like that. So that's another advantage. But yeah, the main thing is Nadal's at his best by now. Thiem's close to his best, and close to his best can't beat Nadal's best on a clay court, which is what will happen. But it'll be 3 sets, close match, great rallies. But Nadal's going to take this one. He's going to be your 2021 Rome Masters champion. So that's my preview. I've got Nadal Schwartzman in one semi-final. I've got Thiem Djokovic in another. I've got Nadal Thiem in the final. I've got Nadal winning it. Essentially going with the favourite. Nadal typically your best on clay, Thiem second, Djokovic third, and Schwartzman's quite a fair way behind. But we're going to need someone else in the semi-finals, and Schwartzman will be the lucky guy. But yeah, that's my preview of the 2021 Rome Masters. I've got Nadal as champion for now. So subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day or night wherever you are. And I'm going to be having a live interview of Roger Federer. It should be sometime this week. I'm going to get him before he'll be back next week in Geneva. So that's another interesting thing I've got ahead. I'll definitely be previewing the semi-finals and final of Rome Masters or the Italian Open before they happen. And maybe the quarterfinals. If there's great matches, I'll do that too. And then probably we've got a live interview of Roger Federer coming. So really subscribe. Great stuff coming up. And give me the thumbs up, hit the bell notification. But thanks for watching. Be back for my next video, guys. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me.